Hey everyone, we're back here with another video, and today's video I want to talk about something that I'm pretty sure most people in the community are thinking about in their heads, but for some reason no one's really coming out and saying it. I mean, some people are, but they're, well, not exactly very eloquent in the way that they're phrasing it, but I'm gonna give it my best shot here. I think we need to talk about Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is a really interesting hero. There are people that are really high rated, they're Eternity, one above all, and a lot of them say that, well, their hero is kind of ass. And they point to things like, well, you need to be able to hit every single one of your abilities when you go in. You need to be able to hit your web, you hit your uppercut, and then you have to hit them with a follow-up web, and that is if they don't get any additional healing. Then and only then will you be able to 100 to 0 them. Or, you know, you could just have the Venom team up, and the second half of that really just doesn't matter. And every, like, 30 seconds or so, you can basically one-shot someone if you do it right. And I understand that, you know, he's not really someone that deals with tanks. I mean, unless he's pulling them off the map, obviously. He's got notable strengths, but also notable weaknesses or shortcomings. Like, yeah, he can pop a squishy, potentially, in the right circumstance, and it can seem kind of bullshit, depending on the situation or who you're playing. You know, some people are better against dive than others, but, I mean, if you're a Luna and that happens to you, then what do? It's hard to freeze Spider-Man as Luna, especially if you don't see it coming. Certain DPS have a much easier time of dealing with him. Heroes like Bucky, Namor, the anti-dive heroes. Generally, I mean, that's what they do. They're good against dive, and Spider-Man dives. News at 11. But it's interesting. It seems like people are complaining that Spider-Man does his job too well, and people complain about, oh, like, he moves so fast, he's so hard to hit. And, I mean, I'm here as a Hella player going, I mean, in all seriousness, like, I'm not expecting people to be able to consistently hit Spider-Man like that. I mean, you know, some people are good enough to hit those shots more consistently than others, and other people just aren't, and probably won't be. You know, whether that be their mechanics or whether that be the heroes that they enjoy playing. It's just going to be different for everybody. It's an interesting situation that we have here, like I just said. Is Spider-Man too good at his job? Then, to that question, my answer is sometimes. I mean, again, he is a very rewarding hero to play, get good at, and even master. He has one of the, if not the highest skill ceilings in the entire game. He's just one of the highest skill ceiling heroes in a hero-based shooter that I can recall. And so it's great to get to that point and be rewarded for it. But there's a comparison that I would like to draw to a character or a hero that is not in a hero shooter. I'm drawing a comparison to Lee Sin from League of Legends. Now, Lee Sin was released initially as an April Fool's joke. They said that Lee Sin was good at everything. Lee Sin was a, what was it?
Lee Sin is a ranged melee, tanky DPS, assassin, mage, tank, support, jungler.
And they literally said in the April Fool's patch,
he excels at everything.
And upon release, well, it didn't seem that way because, well, he was very, very hard to play. To this day, he's still one of the hardest champions in League of Legends to truly master. There's a multitude of things. His power levels have shifted around and his role has shifted around a bit, but his high skill ceiling has remained throughout all these years. But he wasn't that great initially when he was released because people were still figuring him out, trying to understand what you could do, what you could get away with, and, well, weeks and months passed and people started to do some pretty crazy shit for the time on Lee Sin. You know, people started to learn that you could just ward hop. People started to learn that you could Q somebody and then kick them and then recast your Q. I mean, that was high-tech shit for back in like 2011. People started to figure out different combos. They started to figure out that he had a very loaded kit, and as a result of that, he started to receive nerfs, and then more nerfs, and then more nerfs. Pretty soon, it got to the point where he, well, for a while was just not great, but he would almost always seem to rise to prominence because his kit by nature was very rewarding to people that put in the time and effort to learn his ins and outs. He was a highly contested competitive pick back upon his release, and to this day, he is still a hotly contested competitive pick. albeit with a different role on the team. Now I bring up Lee Sin because I see a very similar dynamic with Spider-Man. It's happening right before our very eyes. When the game was first released, I mean, we didn't really see any Spider-Mans that were blowing people away, any Spider-Mans that were just putting the entire team on their backs and going 50-2 and just completely dominating the game. But as time went on and people started to invest more time into Spider-Man, he started to become, well, a problem in some people's eyes. Oh, he's too mobile. Oh, he deals too much damage. He deals too much burst damage. He can 100-0 me in the blink of an eye. He has too much going on in his kit. And I mean, it might be slightly true, but I mean, the thing that I think balances Spider-Man is the fact that what does he really do to tanks besides pulling them off the map? Come on. There's no world of Spider-Man is going to hop onto a Groot and just burst him in seconds flat. That's just not going to happen. That combo I mentioned earlier also can't be pulled off on these 275 and 300 health heroes like the aforementioned Bucky and Namor, along with Black Panther, who while he isn't anti-dive, is a 300 health hero. Lee Sin, on the other hand, back in the early days, did not really have much of a weakness. His early game was really strong, he was an excellent duelist, he could essentially be played in any role, and he wasn't that bad into tanks back in the day due to the common tanky DPS build that a lot of people were doing back then. A really well-played Lee Sin back in the day did not have any real counters. If you were a god on Lee Sin, then you were probably just going to win the game. Meanwhile, Spider-Man, we can see Necros, for example, playing games on Smurfs or alts or whatever you want to call them in silver and gold and ending up with 60 plus elims and still losing the game. Now, I'm not saying this is like a regular occurrence. No, not by any means. I mean, he's gonna win 9 out of 10 of those really, really easily. And I understand that I am comparing two completely different games, but these situations are very, very similar. The difference being that I feel that Lee Sin within the confines of League of Legends has a more versatile kit than Spider-Man does. Don't get me wrong, Spider-Man can do a lot with his kit, but Spider-Man doesn't have some of the things that Lee Sin has in his kit. Spider-Man does not have an execute ability. Spider-Man does not have an ability that allows him to shield allies. Spider-Man does not have any self-sustain. Now imagine a world in which Spider-Man had all of these things. Yeah, you could see how this could become a big problem very, very quickly. However, in his current state, we're already seeing Spider-Man starting to get banned a lot more. His ban rate, as of recording this video, is currently sitting at 30%, just below Hulk's 31% and Groot's 38%. Simply put, people are sick of Spider-Man's shit. But now I raise another question. Is this truly because the character is OP or broken? Or is it, don't get upset at me for this, a skill issue? Now I'm pretty sure that most of us have had moments where we have just straight up said, fuck Spider-Man, Spider-Man is cancer. There's no shame in admitting it. It just happens sometimes. However, I can't help but feel that if Namor is banned, what do people actually think they should play to deal with the Spider-Man? Because on top of not exactly knowing what to play against Spider-Man, I don't believe that most people know exactly how to play versus Spider-Man. And now this isn't going to be a video of me teaching you guys how to play against Spider-Man or anything like that, but I mean, yeah, if you are in an isolated 1v1 with Spider-Man, especially if he has Venom team up, and you are a 250 health hero, well, I mean, it's going to be tough to win that unless you are very good about timing your abilities and hitting your shots. But for a moment, let me talk about the heroes that have a lot more than 250 health. Most tanks, when you really think about it, don't have much of an interaction with Spider-Man, and I think that in and of itself is a bit of a problem. Like, okay, you have Mag that can bubble whoever Spider-Man is diving on. Like, okay, that's great. That's really cool. You have Strange that, I mean, he can shield his ult if need be. He can maybe pop his E on him if he gets too close and he's built up enough energy. Groot can maybe hit a couple of shots on him. And then we get to stuff like Venom and Captain America. Like, if you're playing either one of these heroes, like, what do you really even do to Spider-Man? You don't even interact with him I mean, on the flip side, he also really doesn't want to interact with you in most cases, but that makes you kind of helpless in dealing with him, doesn't it? You basically live in a completely separate world than the enemy Spider-Man. You basically have to win by doing your job better than he does his job. But then at that point, you are going to feel like you're at the mercy of your backline surviving against him. I mean, sure, you could fall back and try to peel, but I mean, what do you really do as Venom or as Captain America? And this is where I believe there is some sort of problem. Even the tanks that can do something in order to counter or at least slow down don't really do a whole hell of a lot against him. I mean, look at some of the other tank DPS interactions. Strange can fly up and block Hela ult. Magneto can ult and eat Punisher ult for a brief moment and then throw it back at him and kill him instantly. Hulk can stun and ulting Wanda. Venom is really good at diving immobile range DPSs that like to sit on high ground. See, these are some examples of direct interaction. And there is very limited direct interaction with Spider-Man if you're a tank. And the question becomes, is that healthy gameplay? And that is something I'm not entirely sure about. Now, I know people are probably going to point to something like Storm, for example, or Iron Man, or other flyers, and be like, oh, well, Captain America and Venom don't really do anything to either one of them, do they? Yeah, but there are other tanks that can directly interact with them. And it's not in a super limited capacity by any means. It's not like there are just no tanks that really cannot interact with flyers at all. There really isn't any notable direct interaction with Spider-Man amongst any of the tanks. This is an issue that is not present with any of the other dive DPSs. Now, I know you're probably thinking, okay, well then, what do we do? Do we do anything with Spider-Man? Do we do anything to him? Do we nerf him? What do we do? And I definitively could not tell you exactly what I believe the solution should be. I have some ideas, maybe a way to make some slightly bigger windows of opportunity to damage him or CC him, because yeah, he does fly around pretty damn fast, and unless you just happen to hit a couple of really good shots on him, if his movement is really good, it's just going to be hard to hit him, and it really doesn't matter how good that you are. Or maybe dive is just really, really good in this game right now, which is a whole nother topic. But without going too far down another rabbit hole, it definitely does seem like if there is a team comp that your team is going to struggle against if you just queue up for a solo queue game, it is typically going to be a dive comp. And there are heroes in the game that are good versus dive. Like I said, it's not just Namor and Bucky. Thing is really good versus dive, albeit he's not as great versus Spider-Man. The recently buffed Wanda, the recently hella buffed Mr. Fantastic, and that brings me to another point. There have been buffs to those two heroes, and both are starting to get played more. Their win rates are going up, especially Mr. Fantastic. He's got like the highest win rate in the game right now. And I promise you, Spider-Man does not want to have to dive into a Mr. Fantastic. Because, yeah, I mean, if he's got all his cooldowns, he's full health, like, it's just a waste of time. So even after this discussion, I have definitely found myself coming to a conclusion here, and that is Spider-Man very good right now? Yes. Could some of these recently buffed heroes be used as counter picks to Spider-Man and be effective at it? I mean, I say yes right now. However, I don't think that the community has really caught on to that. People are still playing Punisher and Moon Knight, stuff like Squirrel Girl and Iron Man, and they're wondering why Spider-Man is just destroying them. I mean, this might be a crazy concept, but there are heroes in the game that are very good against other heroes in the game. So I mean, yeah, of course you're gonna complain if you're playing one of those heroes because, well, they don't really do a whole hell of a lot to Spider-Man. Truth is that a lot of players don't want to put in the time or the effort to learn how to deal with something like a Spider-Man, because a good amount of that requires them to break out of their old habits, get out of their comfort zone, hell, maybe even learn a new hero entirely. And a lot of people just don't want to do that, or they don't have the time to, or whatever it might be. But just because people don't want to learn or they don't want to invest the time does not make Spider-Man broken. Are there ways to deal with him? Yes. Might those methods require some practice or some fine-tuning or some breaking of old habits? Yes. Sometimes it is just as simple as you're playing Luna and Spider-Man keeps diving and killing you. Don't play Luna. Play Invis. play Cloak. Play something that has some sort of escapability or some sort of ability to deal with dive. And if you choose not to, well, then that is not Spider-Man's fault. I do think that there is an interesting discussion to be had about tanks and their lack of direct interaction with Spider-Man, but on the whole, I don't think that any real significant changes need to occur. Some minor tweaks, sure, but I think we need to just kind of let this season marinate just a little bit, because we haven't fully settled into whatever this season's meta is going to be. And once people figure it out, Spider-Man may just not be that great in it. There will always be those people that play Spider-Man and they're just really good at it. Regardless of the meta, they're still going to get value out of their pick. But in general, I definitely think that this entails a wait and see approach. Because if there's anything that I have learned from League of Legends and the many years I spent playing that game at a high level, it's that you don't want to put a hero in Eve tier. Don't know what that is? It basically means putting him in a state of unplayability to the point where he is just basically completely worthless. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, that sounds like a great idea. Fuck Spider-Man. I hate Spider-Man. I want him to be worthless. Okay, well, what if whatever your main is, let's just say you wake up tomorrow and they have been nerfed into complete unusability and they are now, without question, the worst hero in the game. You'd be pretty pissed off, wouldn't you? Your best hero, the one you've devoted the most time into learning and mastering, has now all of a sudden become totally worthless. Sucks, doesn't it? Yeah, that is exactly how every Spider-Man player would feel. So in the end, my call is to just wait and see, and it honestly might just work itself out. And if not, then changes will be made. The game has been out for a total of 5 months. I actually think NetEase has been doing a very good job of balancing the game so far. Do I think there's some things that they have missed on? Oh, absolutely. But we can't expect a game that's been out for 5 months to have the balance levels of a game that's been out for a decade. We'll get there. Just be patient. And that's all I've got for you today. That definitely went on a bit longer than I thought it would, but this was something that was floating around in my head and I felt like I kind of had to get it out there because I had been hearing a lot of these rumblings recently and thought that I may as well just try to put it into words for everyone. Anyways, if you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Let me know if you enjoyed this video and want to see a video similar to this one, and I'll see you all in the next one.